Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really slick Java tool from the wffweb framework. It's all about making your life easier when you're building those dynamic, real-time web applications. So, let's get right into it.
All right, let's kick things off with a problem that I'm sure gives a lot of web developers a headache. Picture this. You've got a stock price, maybe a user's name or a live game score. That one little piece of data has to show up everywhere. In the header, in a sidebar, in a big chart. So how do you keep all of those spots perfectly in sync without, writing a giant tangled mess of code?
The old way of doing this, well, it's pretty much a recipe for disaster. You update the data in your backend, and then you have to go on this manual scavenger hunt through your front-end code, trying to find every single div and span that needs to change. It's slow, your code becomes super fragile, and it's just begging for bugs. I mean, you miss just one of those updates and bam! Your UI is now showing conflicting information, and in a real-time app, that's a huge problem.
But what if there was a better way? This is where SharedTagContent steps in. Think of it like a central control panel for a piece of data. All your little UI elements can just subscribe to it. Then, when you need to make a change, you just update that one central spot, and every single subscribed element updates automatically. It's a genuine, single source of truth for your UI.
Okay, so let's pop the hood and see how this thing actually works. You're probably going to be surprised by how simple and clean the whole process is.
It really just boils down to these 3 steps. First, you create your SharedTagContent object and give it some starting text. Then, step 2, you tell your HTML tags, like these 2 span tags here, to start listening to that object. And finally, step 3, this is the magic part, you just change the content on the shared object itself. That's it.
So right after we set things up, this is what our web page looks like. Pretty straightforward, right? We've got 2 spans, and they're both showing that initial content we gave them. No surprises here.
And now, we run this one single line of Java. The really important thing to see here is that we're not messing with the span tags directly at all. We're only talking to our stock object, our single source of truth.
And just like that, look at the result. The framework sees the change and automatically pushes it out to every tag that's listening. Both of our spans now say content changed. This right here is the heart of how this tool cuts down your development time and effort so dramatically.
Okay, that's awesome for showing the same thing everywhere. But you're probably thinking, what if I need to show the same data, but, in different formats? Like maybe in different currencies? Well, SharedTagContent has you covered with something called content formatters. A content formatter is basically like a personal translator that you can give to each tag. So when the main data changes, it gets passed through this little function on its way to the screen. This lets you totally customize the output for one tag without messing with any of the others.
Let's walk through a real-world example. Imagine we're building a currency dashboard. We'll start by making a SharedTagContent object that can hold a big decimal, which is perfect for handling money without any weird rounding errors. We'll call it STC, amount in USD.
Okay, first up, we need a spot to show British pounds. So we make a span tag. But when we subscribe it to our main USD object, we also pass in this little lambda function. That's our formatter. It's the special sauce that takes the raw dollar amount and knows exactly how to convert it to pounds.
And then we do the exact same thing for Japanese yen. We create another span, subscribe it to the very same USD object, but this time we give it a totally different formatter, one that knows how to convert dollars to yen.
And here it is, the moment of truth. We make a single update, we set our main STC amount in USD object to a value of 1,000. Remember, just one line of code changes our single source of truth.
And would you look at that? That single change kicked off both of our formatters. Our first span automatically shows 780, the right amount in pounds, and the second one shows 108,800, the right amount in yen. We're controlling 2 totally different UI elements with their own display logic, all from one update. Now that is efficient.
Now this isn't just a cool trick. SharedTagContent is a serious production-ready tool, and that means it gives you all the fine-grained control you'd need over how it behaves and how you clean things up. For example, when you're done with a UI element, you can use the detach method to cleanly sever that connection. And you even get a choice. Pass in true, and it'll wipe the content from the tag completely. Or pass in false, and it'll just freeze the last known value on the screen. It's super useful for managing your UI's state. And that's not all.
You can flip a switch to pause the live updates. You can hook into events to run your own custom code when things change. And this is huge. It's all designed from the ground up to be thread-safe and optimized for performance. So yeah, you can absolutely use this in demanding, high-traffic applications.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that shared tag content handles all the messy, complex work of keeping your UI in sync. It gives you that single point of truth, which means you get to write way less code. And less code means fewer bugs and ultimately building powerful real-time features a whole lot faster.
This is such a powerful pattern, and it's perfect for things like live dashboards, stock trading platforms, or even collaborative tools where you see changes instantly. It really makes you stop and think, right? What's that one feature you've always dreaded building that this could make, well, simple?